What's happening, my brothers in Xur? It is I, Ty Guy Travis, here for our weekly IGN show, Where is Xur? The show where we find Xur and we look at his inventory together. Today you can find Xur on Nessus. He is over here in the Watcher's Grave, hanging out on a tree branch. So let's go and say hello. Once you land on Nessus, go ahead and hop on your Sparrow, and you're going to fly straight ahead if you don't hit rocks like I did. And you're going to see him up there on that tree branch where those other players are standing. All right, let's see what he's got in store.
I bring a message from the Nine.
So this week, Xur's exotic weapon is Two-Tailed Fox. If you don't know, this is a pretty sweet exotic rocket launcher that shoots two different types of rocket. So they do Void and Solar, which is great at breaking shields. It's also just kind of a fun weapon to use. So recommend picking that up if you don't have it yet. Then he's got Shards of Galanor. This exotic is absolutely fantastic for hunters, so if you don't have it, you should buy it. Unfortunately, this roll is just so-so. It's got 63 overall stats, which is not amazing for an exotic. It's also got low mobility, which some people don't like. I actually quite like that. Maybe not on my hunter, but in general, I consider that a virtue with armor. But yeah, if you don't have this, you should definitely grab it. We've got a Hallowfire Heart. This ability is not my favorite Titan exotic. However, the roll is pretty decent. 65 for an exotic is all right. Mobility is much higher than I would ever want it to be, unfortunately. So that might be a wash for you. And finally, we've got Transversive Steps. This is another very good exotic for warlocks. Unfortunately, the stat distribution is very bad. 59 overall. Rock bottom mobility doesn't bother me, but the resilience hurts quite a bit. The good news is it's got very high recovery, which actually has some pretty good synergy with this exotic. However, yeah, it's not really something that you should buy unless you really need it. Let's move on to legendary weapons. First, he's got the Imperial Needle. This is actually one of my favorite weapons he's selling this week. It's got some pretty good perks. It's got Swashbuckler, which is good if you're punching people and then shooting your bow, which I don't know. I tend to like to get close with bows sometimes. And then finally, Impulse Amplifier, which is always great on a bow or a glaive. So I like this one. Swashbuckler is probably not a very popular choice for bows, but I like it. And then next we've got Royal Chase. This is a scout rifle. Don't really love the perks. This scout rifle is fine. Scouts kind of aren't really in meta right now, so you might not want to purchase this just in general, but I certainly wouldn't recommend it. Enigma's Draw. This is a decent sidearm. Let's see. Was this the one? I think we got a better sidearm this week. Yeah, we did. Lonesome. Enigma's Draw is a decent sidearm. The perks on this one aren't amazing, so I would actually recommend buying the other sidearm that Xur is selling this week instead of this one, which we will get to. Finally, Iota Draconis. We've got a fusion rifle here. This one's got heated up and cornered. These are decent fusion rifle stats. However, he has definitely sold better versions of this fusion rifle in recent weeks. So if you bought one of those, you probably don't need this. And if you didn't get those, you might want to wait until he has just a better combination. Ignition Code. Decent grenade launcher. Grenade launchers aren't really in fashion right now. The perks on this one are middling. I would personally skip it. Interference 6, same here. Field Prep. Full core's pretty good, but and so is thermoplastic grenades. But Field Prep is not particularly useful on grenade launchers, so I would skip it. And then finally, Lonesome. This is probably my favorite roll this week. It's a sidearm that is quite good. It's got Kill Clip. It's got Zen Moment. It's got a range masterwork. What more could you ask for if you are looking for a sidearm? Also, pretty good in PvP, so I would recommend that. Now we'll move on to Legendary Armor. As a special treat this week, Xur appears to, without really telling anyone, shown up with 2 sets of armor, which is unusual. The first set of armor, which in this case is Illicit Invader, appears to be the type of armor we would get normally. It's got seemingly kind of random stat rolls. Some are low, some are high. And then it's got the second stat called the Pathfinder's set. And this one, all of them are very low stat. So my thinking is that maybe Xur is selling one that is for stats every week, or maybe just this week, who knows. And then a second set that appears to be just for collection purposes. So if you want this for your transmog or whatever, you like the way one of these look, you can pick this up and use it to make your other sets of armor look like it. But obviously, the stats are way too low to consider using in PvE or PvP. So I'm just not going to really talk about it except for to say that it's there if you want it. And I'm going to focus on this set of armor, the listed Invader Armor, which appears to be stat driven. So with that, let's start with the Titan Gauntlets, which are certainly the highlight this week, I think, when it comes to legendary armor. 65 overall stat points is quite good on a legendary set. Really, its only issue is that it's got 24 mobility, which I will admit mobility has more of a role to play in the Titan world since the advent of Arc 3.0. However, it is still not my preferred way to play. So if you are somebody who wants to have a high mobility Titan, this is fantastic. You really couldn't ask for more. However, I personally am not that excited about it. I might pick this one up just in case mobility ever becomes the meta, but I'm probably not going to wear it anytime soon. For the chest piece, it's 61 overall stats, kind of an interesting distribution. Wouldn't recommend grabbing this. Helmet, same situation, slightly better distribution, slightly higher stats, but really not worth picking up. And then the boots, which are laughably bad, 59 overall. And then, as I said, the Pathfinders are all lower than any of those, and so I wouldn't recommend picking up any of these. But there you go. Gauntlets are good on Titan. And with that, let's go ahead and move over and look at our next class. All right, next we're going to check out the inventory for Warlocks. After I revive this other player, apparently.
I am an agent of the night.
All right, let's check out the armor here. So 58 on the Gauntlets, terrible. Do not buy this. 63 on the robes. You certainly could buy this. It's high mobility, high discipline, which might go with certain builds. 63 is sort of middling on armor. 64, 65, 66 are really what you want to shoot for. So, maybe pick this one up if its build strikes your fancy, but it's certainly not the best we've seen. Helmet is also 63. Again, no amazing distribution here. Probably even slightly... Well, actually, this has got 17 mobility, so slightly better than the robes, but still, not amazing in my opinion. And then the boots, which are 59, and you should skip. And finally, let's go ahead and take a look at the hunters. All right, here we are to look at the hunter legendary armor. Let's see what he's got this week. Yeah, so he's got 58 gauntlets, which are not good. 61, which are barely better for the vest here. The helmet's got a 62, which maybe is at the very edge of what you'd want to buy. Distribution is admittedly pretty good, but the overall stat allocation is not amazing. And then boots, which are 58. So unfortunately, if you are playing a hunter this week, you appear to have gotten skunked, I'm sorry to say. All right, that's it for Xur this week. Hope you're enjoying these videos. I am, again, Ty Guy Travis, and for everything related to Xur and Destiny, stick with IGN.
There is a door in the woods. It is opening.